This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman and Riley Smith. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Friday, May 27th, 2022. We're going to get ready and kick off Memorial Day weekend here soon, and we're so glad you can join us today. In today's episode, we're going to honor Memorial Day and talk a little bit about what it means to Dustin and myself, how we participate, and more. But first, we'll go ahead and take a look at that Ag Weather Outlook and the Ag Market Recap.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're getting to the end of the week here and also the start of Memorial Day weekend, so those prices, as a reminder, will be closed until we get ready for Tuesday again. And, just to talk about the closing market prices for today, we're talking with Bill Biedermann of agmarket.net. Bill, how are those markets looking today?
Well, they came back really nicely to end the week and go into the weekend, which was really great because they had been beaten up pretty hard during the week with all the ping pong political statements coming out of Russia and the U.S. and Davos and China. It was a wild week to keep track of the news.
Right, and let's just talk about some of the factors behind that whole, kind of a reversal that we had in the grain markets. Was it mostly just the news that we got, or were there some other factors behind there?
Well, the negative news this week started out with, I'll just list a few of them. We had India, who said that they had a wheat export ban and caused the market to go up a week ago, then came out and said, no, we're going to lift the ban. And then they came back out after that and said, no, we're going to keep the ban. So the wheat market got zigged and zagged on that. At the exact same time, the 2-day period, we had Russia saying, oh, we're going to start exporting food because we want to be, we have concerns over humanitarian needs. When really they need money, right? So they need to export, and they're not exporting the product they grew. They're exporting Ukrainian. And they need the Black Sea region cleared of mines, which if everybody agreed to do this, somebody would have to clear those mines, probably Ukraine. And that's probably not going to happen. And then after they said, we're these nice guys doing humanitarian, and the market crashed, then they came out and said, well, but we want to make sure you lift our sanctions in order for us to do this. Now, that story ran 2 times, 2 days in a row, where we went down on the news they were going to export, back up on the news they wanted sanctions lifted. So a lot of cogs in the wheel on that. Indonesia, same thing on palm oil. They've got a ban on palm oil exports. But then the Ministry of Agriculture came out and said, well, wait a minute. Our storage facilities are full. We got 7 million tons. We don't even have enough storage for a reduced new crop about to get harvested. So the oil market was going crazy. It was just a wild week of this. And then that we even had a story on Reuters on Friday that said the farmers are going to be able to get out of CRP. If their contract is expiring this year, we'll let them out. They can keep the rent. There won't be a penalty, and they will be able to plant the crop this year. Well, that's not the case. You'll be able to start tillage. I believe it's in either September or October or something like that for fall planting. And the story also alluded to that there'd be like 1.7 million acres coming out. That's not the case because we don't know how many of those contracts will actually be taken out or placed into another program. So lots of misinformation this week, I would say, that moved the markets.
Right, and just it was like one thing after another, and it was just a huge example of the volatility that we're seeing here recently, right?
Oh yeah. The wheat market had massive moves this week in Kansas City from $12.91 all the way down to $11.92, $1 range in the wheat market. We had big moves in the corn market. We were up at $7.87 and had a low the next day at $7.55, 30-cent moves. We came back, closed within about 2 cents of where we started the week. And the soybeans were the soybeans were the leader on the upside because of what's going on in the cash market. And it's so difficult to find inventory to buy right now. There were some bids that were absolutely insane. There was some $18 beans paid for this week. And the bean market had a range between $16.65 and $17.44, almost $1 range in the beans.
All right, and let's talk about how things went on the other side of the markets and the livestock complex as well. Obviously, higher grain prices is going to have a little bit of a downward effect on there.
Well, the feeder cattle started out real strong on the idea that the bearish cattle on feed report that showed all those placements really accounted for most of those calves and cow pairs that were sold at auction a few weeks ago. So the numbers coming in down the road here in the next few weeks are probably going to lighten up a lot. And boy, I wish we had those calves, because now we got pasture out there in the southern plains. So we started out thinking the market would go up, but then it sold back off. Like you say, the grains found feet and stabilized, and that put some pressure on the meats. Also, news and fears about the Dow Jones getting beat up some more. A lot of negative talk about food inflation over in Davos at the economic summit they had. And that was a daily, if not hourly, discussion. So, some back off, risk off in the meats. Don't think they're going to fall apart. I think we've found a base down here, but, I'm not the smartest guy in the world either.
Well, lots of great information today, Bill, whether or not you're the smartest guy in the world. Lots of great information. Like I said, if our listeners would like to get in touch and learn a little bit more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Well, just go to our website, agmarket.net. I just go to our Intel page and sign up for some free research. We got a couple of good videos that are super popular, and you'd probably enjoy watching those.
All right. Well, it was great talking to you today, Bill, and we hope to get in touch again soon.
Okay. Thank you.
That again was Bill Biedermann of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those prices closed. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. At the close, July corn is up 12 1/4 at $7.77 1/4. December corn up 11 1/4 at $7.30 even. July soybeans up 5 3/4 at $17.32 1/4. November soybeans down 3/4 of a cent at $15.44 even. Soybean meal up $4.60 at $4.27.30. Soybean oil down 91 cents at $77.49. Chicago wheat up 14 1/4 at $11.57 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat up 12 1/2 at $13.04 3/4. Kansas City hard red wheat up 6 3/4 at $12.35 1/4. And July oats up 18 1/2 at $7.03 3/4. On the Merc, live cattle down 22 cents at $132.17. Feeder cattle down 35 at $166.32. Lean hogs down 70 cents at $110.40. Pork cutout down $1.25 at $114.50. And Class 3 milk up 26 cents at $24.51. And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. Let's go ahead and take a look at that Ag Weather Outlook.
Well, sunny skies returned in the state, and we saw those warmer temperatures up in the 70s, much more spring-like, and we're going to see those summertime temps start to return over the weekend. We did see temperatures in the low 80s in the northwestern part of the state where it was warmer. We're going to see clear skies tonight, and lows will be anywhere from the low 50s to the low 60s. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy, and warmer. Temps will range from the upper 70s to the mid-80s. Now let's take a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow. As you can see, sunny skies across the state. Clinton will be cooler at 78 degrees, and it'll get warmer as you work your way west. Waterloo, sunny and 81. Albia, 82. Des Moines, 83. Cherokee and Shenandoah both looking to be sunny and 86 degrees. Looks like a sunny and warm Memorial Day weekend. Make sure you get out and enjoy it.
For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook. We're going to take a break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, Dustin and I will have our conversation about Memorial Day and what it means to us and to everybody else. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Well, after all, everybody knows that this weekend is Memorial Day weekend coming up on Monday. And so Riley and I thought we would take some time and talk about Memorial Day and kind of make a shorter version of AM PM here for you for today and just kind of talk about why it's important and what about it that we really enjoy and find important for what we talk about. I mean, I don't know for you, but it's definitely a time when family gets together. It's almost a kickoff to the summer, and it's a great way to get things rolling. But also, we can't forget the importance behind it, Riley, and you definitely know about that. And coming from a small town, you guys celebrate those and honor those who paid that ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with it being a small town as well, there's a much more almost not, maybe not personal, but there's a much more close relationship to it. Everybody's always involved with it. There's the one cemetery that everybody goes out to, and we have a big ceremony there. And I myself, I've said before, I'm a trumpet player. I play taps a lot for these ceremonies. Whether it's Memorial Day or funerals. 21 gun salutes. So it's just on that level, that's a lot of my connection with it. And I know you have a much more personal connection with it as well.
Yeah, I do. But, to that extent, I mean, my hometown, I don't know what they're still doing now because it's been a few years since I've been there. But, there was always the program. The VFW obviously brought in the colors. They had a ceremony with music, whether it was the national anthem, a few songs played. A kid from both the Catholic school in town and from the elementary school read something at the event. A sixth grader from the elementary school got to read the poem from Flanders Fields. Fifth grader at the Catholic school got to read the Gettysburg Address. You had the high school band there to play the music. It's definitely a somber thing. And the thing is, you did that in four locations because our school district was two communities. So you went to the one community for the morning for their event. Then you went back to our hometown of Morgan. You did the event for the public. You did an event at the nursing home. And then you also played at the cemetery for a wreath laying or a dedication out there as well. And so it was at least a good half-day event.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, in fact, got to read the Flanders Field poem as a sixth grader. So it's something that connects you with it and how important it is right away from the beginning. And having relatives, I mean, I can trace great uncles that served in both world wars. I have an uncle that served in Korea. My father served. My uncle served in National Guard. Two of my uncles served in National Guard as well. And so, I mean, it's definitely a sense of patriotism and a sense of duty, that we don't see as much today. But there's still definitely a lot of people that have at our age and that are signing up and answering the call to help defend the country.
Yeah, and one of the things that I guess I was proud of growing up was, I didn't go on to serve in the military or anything, obviously, but there was a group of four of us. We went through Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts together, became Eagle Scouts together, and this time of year we were always recruited to do flag raising ceremonies and all that, do a color guard, and same thing when it came around to Veterans Day as well. We'd go around to the nursing home, do a ceremony there. Usually we'd have someone either from National Honor Society or from one of us read a poem for that. And I mean, just to see not only, of course, it means a lot to us, but to see how much it means to everybody else and just how much even the simple thing of playing taps can move
Right.
somebody. I mean, it's something else. And I got to say, from the years of doing it, it's been an honor to be able to do that for people.
And of course, you being a trumpet player, I got to ask, how did you get involved in playing taps for that event?
Well, I do remember one time we were at a scout camp and they were looking for trumpet players. I was like, yeah, well, I play. And they said, do you know how to play taps? But I didn't at that time. I didn't. And I wasn't able to do it. But then I paid extra attention that day to their ceremony. And we had a flag retirement that day. And in that moment, I was kind of, well, I should learn how to do that, and I should really put myself out there and allow myself to, go to these places, go to funerals, go to Memorial Day services, and play for them. And then, around the community, school often asked me to do that stuff. American Legion would take me out of school for some days, and I would go out to a cemetery, play for a little bit. Towards the end of the service, I usually did Memorial Day service. We have a fantastic trumpet player back home. He's even better than I ever was. He does taps now, but occasionally I still get the chance to help them out with that. And yeah, it was just, I got asked, and how can you say no to the opportunity to honor the
Right.
fallen like that?
And it's really interesting how much, maybe you can speak to that, how intimidating a song it can be when you really sit and think about how simple of a song it really is. I mean, when you look at all the things that we played in band and things like that, it's 24 notes, and it's only 4 different notes in that 24. So really, when you look at it, it is not that hard of a song, but yet it is so intimidating and so inspiring at the same time to be able to play that.
Yeah, I had one unique experience with that at I attended Hawkeye Boys State between my junior and senior years of high school, and I was part of the band that we did there. And they got a group of us trumpet players to do taps and the color ceremony. And the band director, he was an old vet, and he brought up, he's like, okay, do you guys play open keys? We said, oh, well, some of us play first key, blah, blah, blah. He said, you play it open or you don't play it at all. And I didn't have quite the range to play it when I was younger, but from then on, I only play it open keys, and I play it the notes how it's supposed to be, like it's a bugle. And there are so many things to those notes in taps. Like you said, it's just a few different notes, but you keep in mind the length of the notes. You play them in different styles, the sequence that you play them in. If you do an echo or not, I like to bring a mute and do an echo afterwards, just to, it bounces off the hills afterwards. And it's just, there are so many things you can do that seem small for it, but they make such a difference in the people. It makes it that much more special for them.
Open keys, so you're talking no pressing of the keys at
Yep.
all. It's strictly bugle style.
Yep, strictly bugle
Okay,
style.
so now you say you do your own echo. I mean, I've always seen it done with the dueling trumpets,
Mhm.
To make it work. But I've never seen it done with the mute at the same time. So that's pretty impressive to do that on your own.
Yeah.
As a saxophone player, I mean, I knew how to play the notes, but it just doesn't have the same ring to it, obviously. But yeah, definitely interesting. But it's an interesting story how you've become involved in that, and that's this right here. I gotta move it in front of you. Sorry there, Riley. But that is my father's flag. I got to figure out how to get this lined up. There we go. That's my father's flag, and you're seeing the reflection of everything in the background. But this means a lot. Since I've gotten this, my mother was so nice enough that allow me to keep it because she did not have a spot for it in the house properly. And so I built the box and did all that. But to me, since of getting that flag, and I loved Memorial Day and we were participating in it and stuff like that. But since I've gotten the flag, to me, it almost aggravates me that it's turned into something that's more worried about grilling, selling cars, and whether or not you can get a mattress sale. Great things, and I'm glad that we can have commercialism and all that, and people have died to defend those abilities. But there's a lot more to it than just that. Going to the lake is fun, but remember why we have that day off. Remember why we can enjoy things like that. That's the important part of Memorial Day. And make sure that while you're having fun, please go out and enjoy it, but make sure you remember why.
Yeah, it's always important to take those liberties and those rights that, the people we're celebrating over Memorial Day and remembering. This is why they gave their lives, so we can have the choice to do these things. But like you said, it is still so important to remember those people, what they died for and what it means for us today.
Well, again, we'll be back with you on Tuesday. We will not be having a Memorial Day episode of AM PM. I think we're going to be taking a much needed day off, but we will be back with you on Tuesday. We thank you for joining us here today. Again, you know where to find all our content. It's not about that today. We just thank you for joining us. Riley, thanks for being a part of this and sharing your experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, for Ag Matters PM, I'm Dustin Huffman.
I'm Riley Smith.
Have a great day. Have a great weekend as well.